Thank you, snowboarding.
Thank you, snowboarding.
Hey friends, how are you doing? My name is Chris Cracknell. You are listening to Thank You Snowboarding, this podcast uncovering UK snowboard culture, past and present, from the guys up in Aviemore and the Highlands hand building boards, and indeed people build hand building boards down in the south of England as well, through to where we are now, the current crop of young riders that are clearing up all around the world in snowboard contests. It's all good here. The season is marching on. We only have a few episodes left this year, and the Brits are this weekend. We'll get more about that at the end of the episode. Firstly, though, I'll send a shout out to the Snowboard Asylum, who have been looking after snowboarders for the last 35 years, and they look after us too. Again, more about that at the end of the episode. So this week's episode is with Elliot Neave. Elliot's quite a larger-than-life character who sort of burst onto the scene, and we first met when my brother brought him back to my house after some event in London, and I wasn't quite prepared for how much of a loose cannon he is. And but Elliot is a lovely, lovely guy. He was an amazing snowboarder, and there's no one else quite like Elliot. This is a long interview. There's quite a lot of swearing, so be prepared if you're listening to it with kids around. And it sort of rambles in places. Elliot's mind has about a million things going through it at any one time, and he's obviously lived quite the life, certainly in snowboarding. He was one of the kind of big sponsor riders at the time, earning money, travelling a lot, being in lots of places, and I think trying to collate that all into one coherent sort of interview may have been a little bit tricky. But anyway, we start off talking about the fact about that time when I met him, going back to my parents' house sometime in the late 90s. And this is quite a long one, so yeah, hold tight and keep it locked for Elliot Neave.
I think that's pitching the scene. I mean, this is how this is literally the start of it, because it was the start. It was like nice.
It was the first time I met you. Dave was like, "Oh yeah, my mate Elliot's like, coming back."
Fuck yourself.
No,
and then I think the next week I got arrested with your brother in a milk wagon in fucking Saas-Fee.
It was destined to be. I just remember being at my front door, like the running out of a taxi thing.
Man, you're still pissed off about that.
No, yeah, well, I remember. I was like, my mum and dad are asleep. Can you just shut the fuck up? I didn't know you from. I didn't know you from Adam. I was like, Dave, who the fuck have you brought home? Who is this guy?
It's all right, Chris. He's fucking Scottish.
Oh, what a beautiful thing!
It was. And you were pissed off for fucking years about that one.
I can hold a grudge, Elliot.
Shadow. It was like Cy Brass. It was like a shadow to his fucking brother. You just keep fucking turning up. I think it was like about £5 as well, wasn't it?
The taxis used to be about 20 quid. I mean, fucking, can you imagine that?
Central... Were you not living in Dartford or something? Like you?
Yeah.
Because Chris, Dave would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm from London." I was like, "Nice one, I'm going to stay with his house. He lives in London." Get a taxi. It was like 50 miles away, and he was like, "All right, that's 20 quid."
Yeah, but 20 quid. Can you imagine now? Be like fucking.
It's like 200 quid. It's like 200 quid.
I mean, that was Dave's standard move, was to fucking get him to drop us at the bottom of that park, and then like fucking run into the park.
I was waking up in your house the next morning, anyways. I think your dad gave you, me, and Dave a lift back to Bordex. Where we're all sleeping on a canal boat.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so loose. It was so fucking loose. It was unbelievable.
So that's a good way to start this conversation.
Yeah, we're in now.
Yeah.
We're all good. We've loosened up. Are we just going to sit and laugh at each other for the next hour or so?
Well, it's easy pickings, isn't it? It's low hanging fruit.
Yeah, I think that's what most people say about you, Elliot. It's low hanging fruit. So how are you anyway?
I'm good.
You're in Edinburgh.
Yeah, middle aged. Watching the guy on the other side of the screen drinking a Thatcher's.
I know.
So yeah,
It's only March as well. That bodes well.
It's just weird, isn't it? Because like I remember when you give me a shout about this, and you were like, "All right, do you want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "If it's talking about me, 100% in." But then I was like, "What's not to love?"
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Who doesn't need to hear this story?
Where do we start, right? But then it was like, but then again, you look back and it's like another fucking chapter of like a different lifetime.
Yeah.
Because you've got kids now, and trying to explain to them about, and they're looking at you going, "I'm going to do a podcast next week." "Oh yeah, are you, Dad? Yeah, wicked. Good luck with that, pal." Do you know what I mean? And you're sitting there going, I'm fucking cool. Do you know what I mean?
No, I've explained on here before how I almost was cool once because I was mentioned in Mojo magazine and the Foo Fighters were on the front.
Yes,
and my kids kind of were like, "Oh yeah, that must be a bit of cool."
That. I do remember that. That you were cool at that point. That was actually
for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes. They've since forgotten that, and I'm back in uncool. But yeah. Tell me about staying at Moran's. Then you stayed there in the summer.
Yeah, so I've been a couple of times. I went out on my own. It was just after COVID. Actually, I think it was so kind of that was funny. Fuck, I forgot about that. It was just after COVID, and I was personal situations. Me and my ex-wife was separating, and it was. I was like, Moran was like, "El, just come here. Do you know what I mean? I will put you up, bring the kids." I think the flights to Geneva were like 90 quid for the three of us, kind of thing.
No
at the time.
way.
And I was like, right, I'm gonna go. And then went out there. And he was like, "Oh yeah, so Spencer and Bomber have been here recently, but suddenly they've just turned the electricity off in the whole place." And I turned up and I'm thinking, oh my God, I turned up at like 9, no, it must be like 1 a.m. or something like that. And the bridge was shut and you had to go through Moutier, and I was just like, and the kids were looking at me going, "Dad, did we actually fucking stay in this place?" It was literally a fucking building site.
Yeah.
Like, there's no electricity, basically. I'm like, "Kids, it's going to be okay." And Rand's going, "Yeah, it's great." And the kids are looking at me going, "Dad, I might actually die if I touch that thing over there." So the next morning and everything, and I woke up into that. It was Rex's birthday, so it must have been like August. And Rex had turned 5, I think. We ended up over that period of that week, just had such a fucking good time. And that view, that vista that you get, of that top thing, and the kids just loved it. And then the year after, I ended up going to Greece on like a fucking 2-week holiday or something, and I'd spent like $5,000 or something. It was just like, this is shit. And I was like, I'm going back there. And Rachel Love, who you know, and her sister and Sonia, her mate, were like, well, I'm thinking about going back to Chris's place because it's so good. Let's go for the holiday. And it was all the divorcees turning up. And we just had a fucking riot, and the kids really got on, and I was like, kids, guess. So I went to see my mate lives in Verbier as well. So got in the car, drove to Verbier, had a night in Verbier. So I was like, kids, we're in Switzerland. Went over to Aosta Valley, which Ed Lee had pointed out, saying you should go and do this.
Yeah.
In the Aosta Valley, had pizza and gelato ice cream, and the kids were standing at St Bernard's Pass. There's obviously a dog museum at the top of this pass.
Yeah, yeah.
And went and did ice creams and whatever, and then we're into France, and I was like, we've done 3 countries in like one day. What do you think about that? And the kids were like, yeah, this is mental. And then we just hung out, and I just had a fucking good time, man. And Chris has always been like, just come out. And the kids, and hopefully, yeah, I'm going to try and get out there again this summer. But like you said, your original question was, why haven't it been out snowboarding and I didn't go out with you guys? I really wanted to do that, but I just had a bit too much on my plate with money and expenses and things.
Yeah, for sure. When was the last time you've been snowboarding?
That's a funny question, because it was with McMorris and Niven and a couple of us. It was literally, I think it was probably the last week or 2 weeks before lockdown.
No way.
It was amazing. And Longo, it was I think it was a Volcom event, and it was so fucking bad in Morzine. Oh, it was your brother was there actually, and Ribbo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was your brother Dave.
Yeah.
Cracknell from Bracknell, and Ribbo, and we all went, and the weather was fucking dire. Do you know what I mean? It was raining. Arthur Longo was riding it, and he would literally in the super Morzine coming down, so turning his boot upside down, and just water was coming out the bottom of his boots. It was that fucking bad, and that's not taking the piss.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It was that bad.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, and that was the last time. And then the mad thing before that was, I went to Japan with Cy Forster and Flash and Stu Stacey and the Dragon Lodge lot and Will Hughes and everyone. And I somebody had asked me the same question you just asked me, and was like, when's the last time you did it? And I was like, I couldn't even think. And that was this isn't even lockdown. It was, I think I went snowboarding again at 36. And the last time I'd actually gone snowboarding before that was when I was 25.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck? No way.
Yeah. And it blew my own head, because I was like, fucking hell, I've not done this in a while. Like, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into that. Let's circle back to that a little later and talk about how you got into snowboarding. Because kind of Scott talked a bit about you on his episode, because obviously your brother...
Got who? Wayman?
McMorris.
Who? I'm sorry, I don't know who that person is.
I mean, he said it's been so long since he's seen you, he's sort of forgotten who you are.
It probably is, actually. He lives around the corner. I don't know, he's been here about 10 years. That's the last time I went snowboarding. You should interview his wife. She's much more fun. And better looking.
I fucking doubt that. He's a handsome fellow.
No, 100%. McMorris is one to watch.
Mate. He was chiselled out of the stone the Edinburgh Castle was made out of.
That's a podcast in itself. Scott McMorris, I have known him McKnight, my brother, since they've been about fucking, I don't know, 10. Like, yeah. It's funny, because he was like, ooh, here we go. There was a thing, I think, on his podcast. It took him about 20 years to learn how to ollie. But as soon as he learned how to ollie, the whole fucking thing opened up, and he was just like, and then it become mustard. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, yeah.
Well, how did you get into it?
So I skied from a young age, and that, I don't know,
Did your parents take you away?
Yeah, basically, and you're lucky enough to have that at that age, like, you know what I mean, and that's really hard in these day and ages. I think for a lot of people, it's not that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I sometimes do think about that and go, would I've still gone snowboarding? Because what the crux of it and what it came down to was skateboarding. I had a skateboard from the age of 3 or 4 or something like that, and it was a fucking piece of shit. And I remember the Tony Hawk board had come out, you know, that pink one with the Hawk graphic on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford that, and I was saying to my mum and dad, I want that.
Yeah.
But the kid round the corner or down the road or wherever, it was like over the next block of houses where we fucking live, was like, he's got a bandsaw, and I was like, what's a fucking bandsaw? And they were like, well, basically you can basically make a shape and it'll cut it for you.
Yeah.
So we go to the shit Edinburgh bargain store, buy the crappiest skateboard, and be like, with plastic wheels. Remember the plastic was in the bubble on the back and everything like that, wrapped in
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Put that through the angle grinder. It was just to make the Tony Hawk skateboard, because it had that weird nose, didn't it?
Yeah, of course.
And I was just like, fucking yes, I've got a Tony Hawk skateboard. And then that summer you'd go to Livy and the Bones Brigade turned up, and you were just like, that was the main. I mean, that's like going to see Oasis this summer. Do you know what I mean? That's how big it was. It was just like the Bones Brigade here, Mike McGill doing the McTwist in the Livy Bowl, you know, Tony Hawk is there, Lance Mountain, and it was just Ray Barbie. Do you know what I mean? And it was the super group, and you were just, fucking yes. And you had this cutout thing that your dad had made down the road, had kind of done something with God knows what, and gone, there you go. So it all came from skateboarding, and then because it was a bit of a subculture. Do you know what I mean? And it was always underground. Everyone was just like, they smoke weed and just fucking go skateboarding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a kind of thing you signed up to. You went and hung out with the skateboarders.
Yeah.
But you drink with the, you know what I mean? That was where you would hang out on a Saturday.
I was from a very lucky background at the same time, so I skied.
Yeah.
But I remember going and trying snowboarding in like Les Arcs or something, and in hard boots, and going, I don't know if this is for me. And it was a mono skier and all that pish. And then, but skateboarding was the main thing. Do you know what I mean? And it was you go up to Bristol Square, and skateboarding, as you know, unless you're any good at it, and a lot of us are, and a lot of people that you know and who probably listen to this podcast, it doesn't matter, but you know how hard it is.
Yeah, for sure.
To do like a kickflip a 6-step, you're going, my mind's blowing. If you could do that, because it's so hard. And that was always the respect that skateboarders always had and could be like.
Yeah.
But if you could do it, but then snowboarding came along, and you were like, okay, I could probably hit this jump, or there's a rail that I can actually get on, and that was the thing, wasn't it? And it was just like, and we had, obviously back in the day, we had golf courses up here and snow and hill end and all that sort of stuff. So we had hills, and that's really what the attraction. And I remember I've been caddying, a golf caddy, for like a summer. I made enough money, and I bought me and my brother black snowboards.
Oh, you had a black snow?
Yeah, 25 quid. Gary Murphy from Quarterback Sports, he had them, and it was like, I've got 2. And it was like 25 quid each, and I was like, right, bang. But
no way, because I've seen them in cap.
It was like June, and we're going back to my mum's house, going, just bought this, and I bought one for him. And he's like, who's that? My grand's sitting there going. I was like, Mum's going, good luck with that, pal. Winter.
Your mum sounds like Kevin Bridges.
Round, set of welly boots on, Dunlop welly boots, right up that hill, and just like, yes, this is what we're doing. And then, and it just came from there.
See, I've seen those boards in catalogues, or I've seen pictures of them. I've never seen one in real life because everyone's like, "Oh, they're dog shit." But I was like, "It's a fucking snowboard. Like, I'd have one."
100%, Chris. I was like, it's a snowboard. I've got fuck all money, but it's going to do something that's better than a sledge.
Yeah, exactly that.
Where do I start? You've got to start somewhere.
Exactly. That'll do. That'll do. If you got nothing, it's better
Twisting
than nothing.
ankles, 10 o'clock at night, and you're dragging your brother back, and your Dunlop fucking wellies hanging off your foot, and your mum's trying to. No mobile phones then. They were like, I don't know, you end up a fucking pond with your fucking somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And then you walk, your mum's gone bananas because you've not been home, and you're like, yeah.
So, did you and your brother discover it at the same time, and both be like fired up for it?
Well, it goes back to the skateboard thing because, like, Grant is definitely the talented one of both of us, and who was the creative one, and like he's such a good skateboarder. I mean, he used to do pop shove it tail grabs off the second block at Bristol Square, and McMorris kind of followed, and there was this like he had that thing, and I think at the point I was like, I'm following him because Grant. Actually, the mad thing is, Grant went to the. I can't remember what it was called. It was the one that your brother went to and McKnight went to. And
Junior Worlds.
Yeah, the World Champs.
It was in Ruka, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they come back and they're all sponsored by like Titan fucking jackets.
That's right. Yeah.
And they were like, and I was like, my mum's going, and I'm going to sound like a right twat here, but I was at boarding school. So, and then I'm phoning home. My mum's like, yeah, your brother's just gone to like fucking Finland with like his fucking idiot mates. And he was like, then, and he was like, oh, it's Hamish McKnight and some other band pots. And you're like, oh yeah, how do you manage that? Well, I was like snowboarding. I was like, when did that happen? Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm so pissed off. I was like, fucking what about this? Do you know what I mean? And then I got kicked out of school. I think that was maybe the main reason because I was thinking I'm fucking stuck up in this shithole. And
where were you at school?
Which one?
Well, any the one you just got kicked out of. In fact, where were you at, and why did you get kicked out?
I was up at Rannoch School up near Schiehallion, like Kinloch Rannoch near Pitlochry. I went up there because it was I was dyslexic, or that's what they tried to tell me. And then they were like, oh yeah, so you just go up here, and which was great because there was loads of snow, and that was one of the best places actually I kind of learned my snowboarding from that. But at the same time, I outgrew the school, I'd say, because I started smoking and drinking, but because all my mates were still in Edinburgh and they were like 15 and they were going to the pub with fake ID, and I'm making fake ID at the school for my weekends away. And by the time we got back to school, I was like, after this, I was like, do you know what I mean? Anyone fancy a blowback on this? And they were like, we don't like the cut of your jib, Mr. Neave. I'm like, about fucking time.
So what age were you when you got booted out of school?
Must have been about 15.
Right.
And then I went, then I went back to Edinburgh, and my mum and dad were like, right, you're going to go to college. And I was like, and what am I going to do there? And I remember walking into the college for the interview, and some fucking wild child just booting a fucking football, tried to get me in the head. As me and my mum, do you know what I mean? Like walking around, I used to hit my mum as well with a football. I was like, I don't think this is for me, mum.
Were you a bit soft at this point?
What are you talking about, Chris?
Boarding school soft.
Hard as nails. Yeah, no, I was a bit like, oh shit, this is a bit weird. And I was just going to go to the local school then. And then went to local school, and oh my god, it was amazing. But at that point, Grant had been like, yeah, we're off to the world champs, and and McKnight had gone, and because obviously McKnight and Grant were at school at the same time, and yeah, it was just fucking mad because and we were both snowboarding like off the black snow thing, like kind of what we were talking about earlier. But we got to a point of, it's Christmas. I want a new snowboard. I had like a 160 Kemper Intruder. That was my first board. But then Grant had like the Jamie Lynn with the like a 150. So it's 10 seconds shorter, but it had the hibiscus flower on it. Do you know what I mean? And but he'd come back and go, yeah, just did a backflip. I was like, fucking cunt. And then he was like, all right, I just did a front flip. And then he came back the next day. Yeah, I just did a front flip. Broken my snowboard. I tried to take it back to the shop and they're not going to give me a receipt. And they were like, I was like, yeah, I still got Kemper Intruder. It's still fucking
There's no breaking that Kemper Intruder.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, how could you break a Kemper? They're like bulletproof, them things.
A scaffold board.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could wrap that round half a fucking car and it still wouldn't break. Do you know what I mean? But that Jamie Lynn LibTech board, which I'm still jealous of. I would still rather have the Lib.
Yeah, of course.
Have you ridden a Jamie Lynn?
I haven't, no.
Oh,
never ridden one.
They are the fucking business.
Are they?
I went to the board test and Sladen was there, and this was after like professional snowboarding, whatever. And I went beeline straight to the LibTech tent and was like, I'm having that. And they were, you can only get a couple of runs and bring it back. And it was like, there's obviously people who worked in shops. It took them the whole week. And they were like, what are you doing? I was like, I knew you. And riding that switch is just like cuts through coal. It was just the business. And they're going, Elliot, can we get this back? And I was like, no, you are not getting this back. It's like, oh my God, you've got to like ride one them.
Yeah, it was always that one that, I don't know, LibTechs they felt like the holy grail, didn't they? The Jamie Lynn's.
Because you had people like fucking Stenty on them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you had Nixon on the Gnu's as well. And you were like, Stenterford on his own is a holy grail. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, it was one of those people. And then fucking Gendel got sponsored by them. And
that's right, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. It was in Atlantis as well at one point. He had the Daniel Frank. And that's like shaking Stevens Green Door. That thing. Do you know what I mean? It was like a fucking... You're like, oh, Gendel, what have you done there? You've sent to these guys for a fucking tenner a week. You're right. I mean, you thought, that they were shit, weren't they? They were so bad.
Yeah, but they looked cool, didn't they?
You just look at no, they didn't look cool. You just look at it thinking, Christ, you take someone's eye out with that. Do you know what I mean?
Wasn't Daniel Frank rated as like the most powerful athlete in the world or something? They measured him against a load of other people that do other sports, and he
when was
came out on
that?
top.
Years
ago.
Oh, years ago, that should have been me, surely.
Well, you'd have been I reckon. I mean, fucking hell.
The most influential athlete of all time. Mr. Neave, I'm that. Who the fuck's he?
Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought it? Rigged.
So,
Spencer Claridge in the background. Fuck off.
Oh my God. Let's not start calling people out for their bulk.
Oh, but they all make it, that's what made that era of what we're talking about, really, or that.
How did you get from the black snow to kind of, when did you pop up, sort of obviously, I mean, where did you must have met my brother Dave at some sort of junior.
Well, yeah, I got arrested.
Yeah, but how did that happen?
Well, I just met him.
Yeah, but where? Come on, throw me a fucking bone here.
Oh, okay. That was...
like, how did you come onto the scene? Because by the time I met you, you were sponsored, you were going about yourself.
No. I wasn't sponsored by the time I met you.
Well, you might have been like a free board and that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But you obviously down in London doing something. Do you know what I mean? So you obviously...
Well, that's when I met. I went to Bordex. I remember it was 0898 chat and date down the side of the fucking EasyJet plane. And you're like, right, nice one. I'm just going to call this number up and fly off to London. It's like £29 return. And they were like, come to Board X. I think it was, that was it, yeah. Okay, I was sponsored by like Third Rail. And was it Lowbridge? Matt Lowbridge?
Matt Lowbridge, yeah.
That lot. They were kind of sponsored by Third Rail. But yeah.
Is it Boardwise? Did they hook you up?
Hey?
Boardwise, did they look after you?
Well, no, it was Gary Murphy that had Quarterback Sports. And I went, it was actually just a bit of fate, really. Ended up going, I went to Val d'Isere on a ski holiday with my parents, and it was like Easter or something. And I was like, no way, there's this British Snowboard Championships on over the road in Teen.
Oh, you were there, were you?
Yeah. And I was like, I want to go there. And I'm going to enter this thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, Mum and Dad were like, all right, see what happens. And there was the pipe, and I remember entering, and it was back. I remember this like clear a day. Sasha Ham was in front of me, and they were like, "You sponsored?" And I was like, "Sponsored by who?" Yeah, myself. Like, Sasha's way that he is, but he had the Wave Rave cords. Remember them?
Yeah.
Wave Rave cords. They were fucking cool.
They were cool.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Yeah.
And it was like, he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. It's my name, Elliot. I'm going to enter this thing. And I knew my mum and dad were like, when you're down the skate park and your parents are like, come on, mate, we've been here an hour. Do you know what I mean? It's like, your parents are standing up. When's he going to, it's half pipe time, right? Yeah, okay, right, go, let's go. We're going home. Because they wanted a bottle of rosé, basically, and they, just enjoy themselves. And you're sitting there like the fucking child you are going, yeah, but this is the planet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is everything.
This is everything, absolutely. Like a skate park is to a fucking small...
totally, yeah.
First time you see it.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, had you seen any of the magazines? And were you reading...
Well, I suppose that, yeah, I mean, that was the other thing. So I'd gone and done that, and then got back and said to Gary that I'd done it, and I think I came about... It was the fucking Brits. It was between Teen and Val, and it was the Big Air where Gumby
half backflipped it,
just literally beeline the face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And ended up in fucking the Dick's T-bar. Do you know what I mean? He'd gone so fucking over the top, stratospheric. And everyone's like...
Straight into the back of an ambulance.
Who's this fucking idiot? And it was like, Gumby.
Jesus, that guy.
I mean, I think he ended up in hospital for do you know, in a coma or something? It was like fucking mental. But yeah, it was that kind of time. And then, so I'd done the Brits, and I went back, and the guy was like, no way. But then I'd go back to boarding school. And I had pictures of like Steve Bailey up in the Snowboard UK. You get the pull out of Snowboard UK, and you have that up on the wall, and like pictures of Stenty and Johnny Barr, cover shots. The 5150, was it 504? Yeah, it was 5150. Yeah, and then you'd have like Bailey, because you could take the middle page out because it was done so not cheaply, but like. That's what you got. Do you know what I mean? And obviously Eddie Spearing was probably running that at the point, and he was just like, yeah, here's the main bit. And you got the poster. I remember sitting there, and then the Scottish champs, and they had the Scottish champs. And I was at boarding school. Yeah, that was the other thing. I was at school, and I was like, I mean, I had literally turned up to school just for the social, and it was just like sitting there having to do homework, and I was like, that's not happening. And then we go to, it was in the hayfield. Did you go to that one when it was in the hayfield?
No.
Scottish champs. Wheeler came up and Brassy and everything. It was before
really?
Brassy, before Bomber had to wipe his arse. Do you remember when he had the
I was there when he done it.
What?
I took his gloves off when he... No, I wasn't there for the wiping of the arse. Definitely not. Luckily, Stu had taken over by that point. No, I was there for when he actually broke both his wrists.
Stu had taken over by that point.
No, I was that. Me and Dave were there when
Imagine Bomber looking at that.
No, I know. I didn't ask him about it when I interviewed him. I really wanted to, but I just didn't know how he'd take it. No, I was there when Brass broke both his wrists. He, like, right in front of me, and he was like, "Oh, I think I've broken my arms."
Is it not like Hemel or something like that happened?
No, it was in Les Arcs at the British Champs.
Yes, it was. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I remember that day.
Like he'd literally gone like both arms out, and it was like bang. Yeah.
So we'd travelled. I mean, all right, let's tell this story. We'd travelled overnight on the train down to Bourg, and then arrived in Les Arcs really early. I think we got
changed. Where you travelled from though? Like Dartford.
Yeah. So there's me, Dave, and Si. I think it was just the three of us. And
how did Brassy know your brother then?
From the junior world stuff,
the junior champ, the junior world stuff,
yeah. They really hit it off. They they enjoyed a drink together and had some adventures.
And then I turned up.
Yeah, and just made things worse, not better. And then so we were overnight on the train. So we'd gone all the way there, got changed, went up to the park, and I was like, "Si, this jump isn't very big. You don't need much speed," because I'd done the season there before.
Yeah,
and
you were living in Les Arcs, weren't you?
Yeah, I'd done a season.
You were living in Bourg.
Well, I did my first season up in Les Arcs, and then when Dave went down to Bourg,
by the time they came out, you were down in Bourg at that point, weren't you?
Well, no. This was in the season in between.
Right.
So I was just on holiday, so we'd all gone out together, and then first run of the day, Si hits this jump, clears it by a mile. Down on both wrists. I'm like, oh my God. So I ride up to him and he's like, I think I broke both my arms. And I'm like, no, I'm sure it's fine. Take his gloves off and his hands were like back on his arms. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, Si, don't look down. We've got to get a piece to her. We've got to get you out of here.
Oh my God. I mean, that's ultimate weighty.
Oh my God. It was, I mean, I nearly threw up.
I think Side had thrown up at that point.
Probably, yeah, it was awful. How did we get onto that?
I'd done the Scottish Champs, and I was at school, at boarding school at the time, and I was doing my GCSEs, I think, or something like that, and I'd gone there, and I'd managed to persuade the school to do that. And I remember in the hayfield, Justin Westcott was there and running it, and Turv and that lot and whoever, and I went off this shitty jump and just was like, because I couldn't. It was the same time. Remember that the ride boards with the pinstripes. It was like,
yep.
They had. Oh my God, ride snowboards back then were just the fucking business. They looked so cool. The graphics were amazing, and they had the horseshoe bindings where you could just sit there, and bent metal. I think took them on, and then I just too much information going on, and I just remember blacking out, and I broke my collarbone like really badly, and I had to get taken off. I probably put the whole thing on hold for about 20 hours, and I'm like, who's the posh kid getting fucking ambulanced out like fucking Homer Simpson? And it was just like, and then I managed to get a week off school. So I was back down in Edinburgh, and I was school pissed off because I had done that. And but I think that was my first thing. And then Gary from quarterback sort of knew about that. And then I'd gone to the Brits, and then I got I kind of was like, what's going on here? And then then Grant and Hamish. I don't know. Grant and Hamish had sort of managed to do their own thing. They were doing something different, but it all came down to kind of skateboarding, I suppose. And I suppose that's where it all kind of bits and pieces all kind of started sticking. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit of a mish and mash of stuff to get to where we got to, basically. And then before you know it, then Scott Todd was running like the dry slope scene, and he had a van, and he was really started pushing that more.
I mean, he hooked you up, didn't he?
And that's where that all came in at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Todd's... I haven't told his story yet, but he's definitely... I mean, he's helped so many people, hasn't he? He helped you out.
Scott Todd has done unbelievable things for a lot of us. For me and... Well, for Scottish snowboarding, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You can say thanks to him at any time you like.
Yeah. And the mad thing was, he was probably about the age I am now, and he had 2 young kids, and he was still pushing and helping, kind of.
Yeah.
He'd drive up and down the country for you, kind of thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, legend.
And then you met, and then it kind of momentum grew by that point. But it was at that Brits. It was at Lazard because Scott. I think Scott flew out. Scott Todd flew out for a couple of riders who was it wasn't silenced at the time, but it was like So we just got. They were there, and we drove the van out from Scotland. So you had to do the whole of the country. Then you had to get on a fucking P&O ferry, and then you had to drive the whole of fucking France to get to where you get to. And but that was half the fun. I remember smoking shitloads of Marlboro Lights. So you do 50 fags in like 12 hours, and going to service stations where they're selling you nunchucks. Do you know what I mean? And a taxidermist squirrel, and they'd be like, "Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
And then, but that was half the fun of it. And then you get there and be like, "And we were here," and that was that Brits. I'm climbing up the fucking the balconies because those arcs like and then just to get in because nobody had mobile phones as well. That's the mad thing.
That's the mad thing, isn't it?
And you had Google and a printout of like directions from Edinburgh to Les Arcs. And I'd be like, hang on, page 6, it says, at junction 21, you want to turn left.
Was it the Les Arcs Brits then?
Is that Britain or is that France?
Oh, hang on, I'm on page 7.
Oh, hang on a minute. Brace yourself for a name. We're taking a left here. Monge 2. Is that by Champagne region or is that by the fucking Dijon section? And then you have Scott in the back who's keen as mustard. It was just a fucking good time to be around.
Was it then the Les Arcs Brits that you got that picture of the Crippler? You got a cover.
Oh,
Did you get a cover? Or
that's coming out, is it? That's now coming. We got to that point of the fucking night.
No, I'm just wondering are we there yet, or are we?
Well, like I said, Chris, you're gonna have a matinee with this one because I'm here all week. The Crippler.
Yeah, when did you sort of start showing? You know, like you started.
That's when it all moved on. It was like you had Grant and my brother and Bristol Square, and you got to remember as well though, like Edinburgh was a fucking melting pot for fucking talent because you had. I mean, look what you got coming out of that. You had Scott McMorris, you had Hamish McKnight, you had my brother, you had me, you had Keatsy, part of the Cuban Brothers, and the music scene as well. That's when I texted you the other day or whatever. I was like, are we going to talk about music? Because 90s hip hop was so fucking amazing at that point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And skateboarding at Bristol Square, but Bristol Square was the mecca of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you had like Keats from the Cuban Brothers, who was breakdancing with Alcerio on it was literally a little bit of vinyl, and they put it out, and you sit there, and a lot of us from privileged backgrounds and people from not privileged backgrounds but that was the best place to go because people smoking weed, fucking doing drugs, fucking drinking. You had tramps pissing themselves in the streets. You'd give them a quid to lie down so you could just ollie them. Do you know what I mean? Get a picture taken, and that's how mental it was. And then you had fucking Rajas coming up with fucking scaffolding poles trying to fucking knock you out, and it'd be like, but you were in the heart of it. Do you know what I mean? And from no matter what background you were, none of it mattered.
Yeah.
It was just like, we're here to skateboard and we fucking enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? And he's shit at it, but he's good at it. I mean, you got to think, Ewan Bowman came from there. He was shooting fucking. I mean, he's one of the biggest trans world fucking cameramen or producers that You had like Colin Kennedy. Do you know what I mean? You had Rattray come from there.
Colin and Colin
yeah.
Kennedy.
Do you know what I mean? And that's all going on at that one fucking time.
Yeah.
And then you'd have like, that's when it met your brother, and you gave him the CD. I think it was the Ray and Christian one from the Mix Mag. And your brother,
Blazing the Crop.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And it was just your brother would play it all the time, and it was like, but people were playing it in the streets. So you'd have DJ Shadow, you'd have fucking James Lavelle, you had the Uncle stuff. You had, it was just fucking fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like, but that whole time it wasn't just about. It wasn't just about what we were doing, skateboarding. The shit was going on everywhere. Yeah. You had house music, you had garage music, you had fucking, do you know what I mean? Shit with like Fabric. You had Ibiza was just starting to take off. You had everyone was having a good time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that was the most fun. And I think there's something that Matt had said in one of your podcasts. Was like, it was the vehicle to take him where he wanted to be because he was Ted from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when he got into it, and he later on took me and Scott and everyone in Camo that direction. But yeah, it was just fucking brilliant. And then what happened then was people go off and do their own thing. I ended up going to Whistler on my own. Oh no, I went to Teen on my own, and
for the season.
Yeah, to do a season. And I was like, Scott was like, yeah, you should go do this because actually we've been at Hammer Camp. We've done Hammer Camp at Teen Lalac, right?
Okay.
We've been riding the glacier up there, and it was a really shit half pipe. And I was just beelining through the middle of it. And I learned the frontside rodeo, and it was what to me felt like fucking huge. And frontside rodeo 5, and the last day came around, stomped it, and I was just like, fucking hell, that was sort of like windbreakery flapping. That's how fast you're going when you fucking stuck it.
I love
riding
that.
Out. And you're riding out, and you're just going, wait, shit, that was mental. Do you know what I mean? But you're loving it. But you can't go,
No. Can't claim it.
I'm just doing, it was just that kind of thing. And then I got sent to, not sent, but, people were like, you should go and do Teen. And
so who was that with?
That was me going to run a hotel on my own in Teen Lalac. And I was there.
Who gave you that job?
25 weeks early. And I'm sitting there. I can hear rats going about, and all I've got is fucking French FR1. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, and I don't even speak French. And I could hear, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? This is shit. And my mum and dad came up and said, dropped Scott and my brother off. And they're going to go snowboarding with you. There's no snow yet. Like Teen Lalac hadn't even the lac had not even frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a reoccurring scene here, Chris. It's like off you go to boarding school, and then off you go to them. Just try if I can get rid of me. I'm not fucking.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I know. But then, so we're sitting there, and Scott comes out. And my brother was there, and I was just like, this just is not working. Like, I'm not enjoying it. I came home, And then Scott Todd was like, we're going to go to, there's a sales meeting in Oregon in Mount Bachelor with Chad Otterstrom's going to be there. And Chad was like, not even a fucking, you know what I mean? It was a nobody by that point, and how big he is as a snowboarder. And I don't know if you follow his Instagram or anything like that, but he's like a McMorris. He still go off a kicker and try a fucking switch 9. You know what I mean? At 50. Yeah. Just like,
fair play to him.
Yeah. So yeah, we just went out there, and then they were like, this guy was like, well, do you want to come to Pemberton and live under my stairs? And I was like, and Scott was like, well, you've got nothing else to do, have you? And I was like, yeah, go on then. And it was in Pemberton. There was like a Indian reserve and like a dive bar, and literally that was about it. And I lived under the stairs with his family and his wife. He brought me back and went, oh yeah, I found this guy's turning up.
How did that go down with the family?
Do you know what I mean? No, but every day, and I'd have to hitchhike into Whistler every day.
Yeah.
And then started riding pipe, and that's when I was just like, and it was weird because I just come from that thing with Justin Westcott and Neil McNabb and that sort of Sass Fay thing where I met your brother, Brassy and stuff. And I was like, well, I'm off to go and do this. And I remember, and Fabian Rora, he was riding pipe at the time, and I think Gene Simmons
from Kiss.
Yeah.
Not that Gene Simmons.
No, is it Gian Simmons?
Gian Simmons.
Yeah, Gian Simmons. We're riding it there, and I've been on that sort of early camp, a junior team. And then I was like, fuck, I fucking love riding half pipe. And then just every single day, hike that pipe, snow, rain, whatever. I mean, the days I was like powder, and people were like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm just going to ride the half pipe. And they were like, why? I was like, why not? Like, this is the bit, I like doing this.
Yeah.
And this is what I enjoy doing as a snowboarder.
Yeah.
Looking back, I wouldn't have changed it, but now I would have gone, I could have a day off, mate. Do you know what I mean? Let's just go and ride the trees for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Take some acid and see what happens. And then, do you know what I mean? But instead, I was so dedicated to it. And then, and I remember riding that pipe thinking, fuck, I don't know if I'm that good. And it was actually Charlotte Dutton's husband, Ben Davis. Him and his brother. Fucking, that's going back now. I've forgotten about this. But Ben, if you're listening, that's funny. And Charlotte, it's hilarious. Just he had a sequence in Transworld, and he was like, I had to think, it was Nintendo 64 had a weekly contest. It was kind of like your grassroots kind of thing, but the whole place was sponsored by N64, and you would just have to enter. And I was like, "What do you mean a competition?" And they were like, "Yeah, just enter." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then it was a weekly thing, and it was great. And as the weeks went on, you got better, or you, oh, fuck, I need to beat that. Mike Page was fucking riding, do you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. Like really fucking young Mike Page, forum team riders.
Yeah.
And it was just fucking mad. And then I was just like, well, I like doing a frontside rodeo. I was like, I'm going to fucking attempt this, shut my eyes and just fucking see what happens. And Mike Michelchuk was there, yeah. And I just remember, and I started doing well, but I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good enough for the Brits. I don't know what's going to happen now, because Bomber was on the map at that point, and Moran, and that, those were the people I had up on the wall at boarding school.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're looking at them fucking pictures, going, fucking hell, like Steve Bailey. Do you know what I mean? It's just it scared the shit out of you because he was so good.
Yeah,
he'd be like, oh fuck. And then that 1999 Sassfay Brits turned up, and I was like, fucking, you haven't put a run together. I was like, fuck. In we go. And it was into frontside crippler. Because I was thinking you've got to have the big tickets straight off the bat.
Yep.
To Joe, I mean some business here. Yep. This is what's happening.
Yeah. Your statement of intent.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah.
It's straight away supersonic into rock and roll star.
Yeah. Exactly that. Do
you know what I mean? I have arrived. And your mum's going, fucking put it to bed, son. And I remember just hitting that thing, that dropping in and going, fuck, I'm feeling good in this pipe. Frontside crippler into backside McTwist, into frontside 5, into backside 5, into alley 5, I think it was, nose grab. Because Artur Sari did it on a skate bid, and it just, when you just come up and it just floats round and you're just
so weightless.
And just looks so perfect.
Yeah.
And but the way like Scott and Danny ride, do you know what I mean? It did echoes, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And you'd be like, I remember coming out and I was like, boom, 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 and I was thinking. And Bomber is already signed with Moran to Oakley.
Yeah.
Christ, I mean, we have to do another podcast just to talk about fucking Morgan.
A whole episode on Stu Morgan. His name's definitely come up before.
Oh my God! Some of the fucking stories I can have with him, like, but yeah. So the heavy hitters came in, and then the problem was I was just having so much fun. I was just a young kid, and I was like, boom. And I was thinking, I don't know. And then before you know it, Chod. I think it was Chod was the only person that actually got the shots, because that was my intro to Thieves and Rich Kids. I think on that intro, and Chod had just sat there all day, and I was thinking, oh my God, this guy's fucking taking pictures. Things must be working, sort of thing. And Bomber was walking up the fucking side of the pipe with Morgan. And he was going, you should probably check this kid out. And then the pipe had just got so squidgy and crap because the sun baked and turned sugar. And I just came out and just fucking wrecked my collarbone, and before you know it, that was me done. But from doing that little session that I had and really enjoying with people, like, that's when Morgan actually sat me down and was like, we want to sponsor you. And you're on the books with us,
right?
And you're going to play. And also Christian as well was like, at that point he was doing Vans, but then your brother was on PlayStation. Yeah. And then but Christian was like, Neave, you're in. And I because in my head I was thinking, I've got to win this, but to be able to get sponsored or to be not flowed shit. I want paid. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And that was the year that Mark Hartley beat fucking Wheeler.
In the big air, controversial big air.
Oh, that was the biggest controversialness of controversialness things that
it depends what you call it, isn't it? If it's just a big air contest.
Was it not a switch backside 9 to frontside 9? Was it not like... And it was fucking Ian Felton or something like that, fucking standing there. He was on the BBC. He was like, who invited him?
I don't know, but it depends what you call it, isn't it? If it's just a big air, then it's obviously the person who goes the biggest. But if it's like air and style or...
looking back now on big air, I mean, as you said it, big air, it just sounds a bit shit. Because you could just... I tell you what, it's Gumby. Yeah, that Brits.
Yeah.
Do it, and he ends up in fucking Tommy Africa's. Do you know what I mean? In Canada, and he's in France. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's gone the biggest. He's the best.
Yeah.
Nino, Nino, Nino.
Well, I don't really. I mean, the thing is, Mark Hartley turned up and he did the same on dry slope. He went fucking massive.
Well, I think that was the other thing that a lot of people forgot, that the grassroots of dry slope and everything that we've all grown up, and that's another podcast as well, because that background, Steve Bailey, Mark Hartley, Moran, Jamie Baker, they would go fucking. I remember this contest in Wales, and you could just see Hartley with his green hair beelining the whole of this fucking hill.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, he is dead. And then he'd hit this kicker. It was about this size with like a real big like skate vert to it.
Yeah.
It would pop you about 1 billion miles up in the air, and then with a kind of semi-flat landing with a K2, and Smitty was behind it skinning up. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Before you know it, you'd end up in the Palmer station.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, Mark, he went massive. You can say what you want about style and everything, but he went big. And, he died in he got into base jumping.
Yeah, no, I know.
Died base jumping. So.
It's a really sad thing.
It is sad. But, I mean, he had that sort of Michael Chuck thing. He sort of came along and sort of got in people's way for a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Came out of left field and... Which
I think is fucking brilliant.
Well, it's what it is,
Because you need those kind of people in your life.
Yeah.
Because it challenges you. Do you know what I mean? And if we all sat there going, but he's got green hair and he just, I remember he had half a fucking baby's arm hanging off his elbow because he smashed himself up so fucking badly on a fucking Sunday night. And then before you know it, he was doing a carpentry job in Sheffield down the village.
Yeah.
But he didn't care.
No.
And, you know what I mean? But he just wanted to go out there and fucking have it.
Yeah,
and just go so fucking big.
Yeah.
And Bailey, that was it. That frontside 9, was it a backside 9 he does?
That on dry slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, backside.
Is it a backside 9?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. Fucking huge, that sequence. If you look at that now, I mean, that'll give my children nightmares.
I know. We've got I've actually done it already. We've got Steve as the last guest of this season, and we were talking about that backside 900. It's still show that to anyone riding dry slope, and they would be like, "What the fuck?"
It's you can still put that up on the wall, and you know what would be really good to stretch it out and actually see.
Yeah,
because it is still scary. That's Steve Bailey's fucking talented individual. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, mate. He's, again, one of those individuals that's made of other things.
But it's the same thing about Hartley. And so going back to the original point, especially with Dan and that big air contest, it was like a lot of the judges on that panel knew Mark from the grassroots stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Dan was always already doing seasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Danny was at that point. He's an international snowboarder at that point. He had close to. I think he had a pro model, just probably coming out before a duotone. Munson picked that up maybe, but it was coming. Do you know what I mean? It is controversial, but I know who I understand the voting on how it worked.
Yeah, well, I think at the time I was a bit like, well, Danny should have won because Danny's the best snowboarder. But
yeah,
obviously, if you don't talk to the judges and you don't know what the criteria is, then you're not going to know who's won, are you? Or you're not necessarily going to agree with it.
People probably say the same about the 99 British champion, half-pipe champions when, I won that and Jamie Folk came second. But I was the better rider than that day. As I said to Brassy, don't remember second.
As you said to Jamie Philp, no one remembers second.
No, my God. That's That's another thing I did with your brother. Right, so it was you, your brother. It was me, your brother, and Brassy. And Jamie Phil had to sleep with his own snowboard because we ended up getting his Drake bindings and putting them the opposite way. And he got up the top of the mountain and he couldn't use. They were the wrong way around.
I've not heard that before.
A load of Haribo. Your brother's been sick because he's had too much booze from the night before, and Keith Patterson just turned up, and it's just like, as I said, the best times to be alive. Fabian Rora was there as well. Oh, that's other. When are you going to do one with Brassy?
He's on the list. We'll see.
Yeah, I'd do his wife instead. No, not like that.
I mean, you know.
You know what I mean? No. His wife's got more chat than him.
Well, undoubtedly.
But then, yeah, I mean, dude, you know it yourself. Like, snowboarding's just... It was just a fucking cool time. And then, like as I said, looking back on a lot of it, it's like... There's golden eras, especially you see it with like I was saying, like music, and you know, and AI is taking over now, and you see it with like Formula One. Do you know what I mean? It's like the Senna years of Prost, and you're never gonna get that. It was just raw, talent, and people didn't know what they were doing. That was the other thing. Like you had Morgan as a team manager, or Mickey McDonald, who was fantastic. Yeah. And then Christian, and then you have like Phil Young, and you had Turvey, and you had Foursquare Distribution, and you had fucking Bert and that lot just do it, and Johnny Weeks, and do you know what I mean? All them boys. Yeah. It was like, let's mix and match it. Fuck it, we're making money. Let's just fucking have it.
Yeah. I mean, let's circle back to Stu Morgan. I mean, you getting on Oakley and you know, getting paid, but I mean, there weren't that many people earning money at the time.
That scared the shit out of me. But yeah, say what you need to say, because.
Well, it's just like not many people were earning actual money out of snowboarding at that point. I don't think.
I don't know, because I was looking at Bomber, and
Stu was, and Danny was, and Melanie was,
Moran. And I was looking at them,
but not.
I was like, well, I want a bit of that. I remember Scammo. Oh my god, Scammo. Fucking, he's a Monty Burns. He could light a cigarette out, it's come out of his pocket. Do you know what I mean? It's like fucking unbelievable. The supergroup, or Ed Lee. It was Ed, that lot, and I was like, they're getting to do something, and they're getting paid to. They don't have to work. Yeah, basically, and they're getting to do it. And I was like, I want that. That's what I fucking want to be able to do. And I remember I was with Special Blend, Kirsty and Stu Lee at the time. That's another controversial chat, but you know, really, and Will Hughes was there, and Disco Dan, and everyone, and they saw something in me, and we were with Paul, and it was down in Bethnal Green, was it? Was it?
No, it was Westbourne Grove. Yeah, near PlayStation.
Yeah. And they saw something in me, and I remember going there, and it was just like Nixon had been signed, and I was like, I'm on Special Blend, and they would literally, like, you're talking float, I'm talking like, what do you want? And they were like, what do you need? And you'd phone up, and it would be like, 100 jackets, please. Boom, like everything turns up, and then you go down there and be like. So I'd like, and Helicart was involved in this at the time, because I think Paul was sort of on the hook for Unibomber, and then it was like, and you walk in, there was Black Panther fucking bearings, there was fucking skateboard, indie trucks. I mean, you just walk in there and it wasn't robbing the place. Like, don't quote me on that, but they were like, just take what you want. Like, take what you need, basically, because we can't. Because Paul would be like, I'd rather pay in stock than cash, basically. And I was on Special Blind. I'd been signed up, and Will Hughes had taken me on his wing on that, and was doing Kirsty. And I remember going down to London a few times to do that, and it was great. And they were like so supportive. And then I said to Kirsty, I was like, "Oh, some money." What do you mean? I was like, "Wow." Nick Hamilton's picking me up in about fucking 10 minutes, and I'm going to France and could do paying some petrol, and how about $3,000? Let's see what's in the petty cash, yeah. But you're going to have to go and speak to Paul. I remember tapping on the door, and I must have been about 18 and going,
man.
I was like, Paul, what's the chances of some cash? And he was like, check out what's in the old drawer. There's that, yeah. £100 petty cash, all right? I was like, I'll take that, yeah. And then sat in the back of this fucked Astra that Palmer had sold to Monty Burns, and we're sitting there, and he was going, and I was like, I'm a pro snowboarder. And he went, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I get paid. I get paid to do what I'm doing. It's like, how much you get, mate? And I was like, 100 quid. But I was a bit like, I fucking landed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's fair enough.
And then I remember it started getting proper, brass tacks now. We're getting proper into snowboarding, and Morgan, well, it was after that 99 British Champs, and Morgan had sat me down, and one night I broke my collarbone and was in hospital and all sorts of shit. And then at the end of it, Morgan was like, yeah, we want to sign you to Oakley. And I was like, well, what does that mean? He was like, well, no, it's like contract. It's money and as much stock as you want. And I was just like, fucking hell, man. That's mad.
Yeah.
I was still at school.
No way.
And I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't a fuck you to my parents, but it was a bit like, because they were like, well, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, yeah, but at the time, it wasn't a job. Do you know what I mean? It was.
Oh, yeah. You
know, like who's going to have a job as a snowboarder? Not many people.
Well, exactly.
There wasn't much of a precedent, was there? So
no, unless you're fucking like Lewis Hamilton. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I drive racing cars.
Yeah.
It's like, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's a gap year, or what you do, or you're living here, and that was the vehicle as well that then completely changed things, because you were in Whistler, and I could pay for my own flight. Do you know what I mean? I could pay people rent, and I could fucking do it, and I was like, this is fucking mad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting to do this. And then that's when and then that Brit, yeah. And then I ended up doing a season in Val after that, and I was sort of on PlayStation, people paying me money, and you could phone up and just be like, can I get 100 pairs of A-frames? Yep. Where are we sending them? Fuck, no, it's just at this place, and we'll just flog the shit out of these. It's like,
oh,
man.
man.
Doing a season of Valdizaire, and yeah, it was just like...
Yeah, but I mean, Oakley, especially Oakley. I mean, Stu Morgan, I think that was just around about the time we started the chalet. And he was like, oh, mate, we could decorate this whole place. We could theme it. And, he was talking craziness. And he used to send us so much stuff. Like, just... We didn't necessarily deserve it, and we didn't have much clout.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But there was just product flying around
and coming at you.
Yeah,
without even having to ask.
No. I mean, like, he would go up the mountain with lenses and goggles and shit. And if he saw someone having trouble with the goggles, he'd just be like, "There's a pair. Go on."
Yeah, and have an umbrella while we're at it. I'd be like, nice. It's not even snowing yet. He's like, yeah, we need it later.
Yeah, you'll need it sometime. Yeah, no, they were crazy times, weren't they?
He is one of my best friends and a person I fucking love. And I went to Australia, I saw him in Australia, and oh my God, he's just, he's a magician. And I'm not saying that as like taking the piss. He can actually like take your watch off you, he's a total magician.
Oh, is he?
And I was like, how did you get this job anyway? And he went, oh yeah, my mum and dad seen it in the local Stevenage paper. I think like Nebworth had been on with the Prodigy, and Oasis, and that they'd done Nebworth, and it was so random. He was like, yeah, and you're into wakeboarding, so like, why don't you just go for the job? And he went, yeah, go on then. And then and he got it, and they were like, well, off you go. There's this thing called snowboarding, and people are really into it. And he was like, yeah, all right. And then before you know it, he had like a gold card, American Express, and a massive budget, and didn't really know what he was doing. It was like the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing times. We're so fortunate to have had that.
So fun. And he's just one example of it, because you'd have like Mickey McDonald was just
another legend.
Absolutely. You know what? He was mad things, because you'd end up being like at Bordex. You knew it, we had the ski show, and then straight into Bordex, and you knew you were going to be in London for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you had about a tenner coming down from Scotland. But you knew as soon as you met the boys, the next day you're in Soho House with Morgan, Robbie Williams, Justin Timberlake, and then you're sitting there, and you're thinking, how the fuck are we getting away with this?
So that was the other cool thing.
Morgan's doing some sort of magic trick. Mickey McDonald's sitting there, and he's going, you'd be in Soho, and you'd be like, yo, sushi. He'd be like, bring the boys round. And he was like, well, you're on West Beach, and McMorris or your brother would be like, oh yeah, but I'm with Neave, and you know, Gendal's here, or fucking Warwood, or whatever. And he'd be like, no, you just bring them in. And he'd just pay the bill.
Yeah.
Because he knew what would happen is that Morgan would probably take us all out with Dave, whoever, and he'd be like, well, I'll fit the bill on this. And because they knew they had the Diamond Club fucking gold cards, but they, you know, getting cash back. And they were just like, you know, but it was like, things just worked. Do you know what I mean? And you got to know those people. Those people kind of stood like Darren Robertson and like you know, the 32 crew, and you know, that lot. They know that if they scratch your back, you'd get their back scratched, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was just fucking brilliant. And then you have Turvey in the mix, and you know, and skateboarding, and fucking the Bordex, and yeah, it was just a great time to be alive.
Well, it was a great time to be in snowboarding, wasn't it? Because it was that.
But that's the main thing as well, because you were traveling the fucking world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like, looking back right now, I'd be like, because you said, oh, we're gonna just, and I was like, fucking hell, like, talking about this is like, I remember we were living in Whistler, and I would go back and forth to Europe 6 times in a season.
No way.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Picked up at Heathrow. Oh, we're off to Villars. What are we doing? We're doing the bomb comp. Right, okay, back to fucking Whistler. Okay, back on another plane. What are we doing now? Oh, you're going to Gumby's Big Out. Back again. Oh, you got the British Champs. Right, back again. We're going to shoot with Scammer. We're going to do the White Lines trip. And then you got Matt Barr, and then you're going to do this, and you're back to this, and then before you know it, you're suddenly like, this is fucking mad. Like,
did it ever occur to you at the time, or were you just too young and kind of in it?
I think it would we'd be home at the summer, and your parents were. But then, I brought it up with Brassy once, and he was like, "Yeah, but Elliot, you've got to remember, because the Canadian dollar was absolutely shot at the time. So like I think we were getting $2 to the pound.
Yeah.
So a lift ticket was something like 250 quid. Do you know what I mean? Rent was like fucking 500 quid or something. And we were getting paid like 3 to 5 grand, but we also flowed kit. Do you know what I mean? So we was punting that, and then that was the best thing as well. You'd enter the contest like Bordex, London Ski Show, do all that. This is where Bailey comes into his own, where he was like, right, lads, let's just split the prize money. Yes. That's me walking away with another £500. And they were like, right, well, we're back to Bordeaux. Well, Bailey's probably going to win this with his fucking frontside 9.
But he wants to split the prize money, so let's go.
Perfect. Where do I sign? But the other mad thing as well, you're snowboarding in London off the Chelsea Bridge. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it was that sort of thing. I'm living in Chelsea, and we'd gone out in Chelsea, and it was just, you can fucking do that now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And the people that are running Bordex at the same time, I got sponsored by Bordex.
Did you?
Oh yeah, Morgan hooked it up with Andy and Andrew, and what's the other guy's name? Absolutely, you remember Curtin here?
I can't remember.
Oh, they were just off the fucking charts, them two. And it was just like, I thought I was bad. Do you know what I mean? Until I met them. And you're like, I mean, next fucking level.
That's a lot.
It is. I mean, getting pissed on a Monday night, for me, I think that's mental. They would just do it for a couple of months. It was so much fun. And then God, Chris, I could speak to you for fucking hours on this, because then you've got like Scammo, and then you've got Matt Barr, and then you've got, all that shit. The White Lines thing, Ed Lee, fucking Jim, Permanent Publications, Horsley from Sidewalk Surfer, and oh my god, do you know what I mean? All that.
But the best thing about it was,
as well, do you know what I mean? Like, absolute legends, all of them.
But it was kind of snowboarders were looking after snowboarding. Do you know what I mean? We'd sort of figured it out that it was basically everyone and your mates doing all the jobs,
but at the same time hating each other. It was like your little brother in the corner. Do you know what I mean? Because you wanted to be, in my eyes, I wanted to be better than Danny. I wanted to be better than Scott, and Scott probably wanted to be better than Danny, and Danny probably wanted to be better than Scott, and Danny, So you're competing. It's kind of like Formula One. It's like, you've got Norris, and you've got like Albon, and you've got like Leclerc, that kind of era of driver, rather than Hamilton's and the fucking Alonso. Right. But they've all grown up karting. But as soon as that visor goes down, you're fucking out. You're fucking winning. Yeah. It's like, I'm fucking having it. And that's your mark, like Kenty. Do you know what I mean? Kenty, when he puts his goggles down, he's a fucking machine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he can deliver. And it was always like, fuck. And I mean, if you didn't do well, you'd beat yourself up a bit, but at the same time, you were still having a fucking great time. You were in fucking Val d'Isère, and you're paying rent in Worcester, and you're about to get on a fucking plane back to there next week. So, I mean, it's not that shit, is it? And you're living with Brandon Block.
Oh my god, Brandon Block. Who's his mate?
What?
Alex.
Oh, Paul. Alex P.
Alex P.
Oh, there's stories about that. That was the Oakley lot, wasn't it? They came out to Worcester and they were like, all right, Neave, turn up and fucking... We need some goggles. I'd obviously ordered 100 pairs. And then obviously. And then Morgan was like, so you've ordered like 100 pairs of goggles, so what are you going to do? And I was like, well, and why? I was like, why? Alex P and fucking... Todd Paul are out, and they want some goggles, and I was like, "That's a couple of nights on the piss gone down the fucking drain, isn't it?"
Jesus.
And then you just turn up, and went around their house, and they were like, "Yeah," and they were DJing in Worcester, and it was like, it was mad, and that's the other thing. That's the beauty about Morgan. Do you know what I mean? You never fucking know what's gonna happen. Oh, it was just yeah. And then you got like Burton Seven. Remember, like because Catherine Gendall and Wickham and Jones, they used to live with fucking Romain Demarche. Do you know what I mean?
Did they?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. How good was Roman?
Oh man, he's a lunatic.
Absolutely. He's like Longo on fucking steroids. Do you know what I mean?
I think we were talking about him recently. It might have been that trip out to France. We were talking about Roman, and it was basically it's exciting to watch because you don't know what's going to happen.
Bit like me.
Bit like you. There you go. You've just connected yourself with Roman. You've just put yourself up there with Romain Demarche. That's a fucking bold move.
Well, I'd actually put it a bit higher, to be honest. His last podcast in France was probably...
yeah. I don't. He's probably.
He was. Yeah, you did not know what. It's like Yussi. Yussi was the same sort. Like the lame stuff. You didn't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Or Penny. You know, it's what's in skateboarding. Or like Costin was the professor. Do you know what I mean? You knew what you were gonna get. But Jamie Thomas, you're like, fucking hell, where's that come from? Do you know what I mean? Muscat. And then you're like, and then you see someone like Demarche, and you're like, fucking hell, like, how the fuck has he pulled that off?
How is he still alive? You know, do you know what I mean? Like, he nailed himself so hard. But
then you would, in my eyes, I would look at that and go, that's what life's about living. That's fun. Like, that's why I should be on this planet, because it's going to scare the fucking shit off me. And if I fucking have it, I have it. And if I don't, well, it's a bit of a 50-50, really, isn't it? but generally, it's going to kind of be all right. I mean, I got hit by a car when I was like 6. Do you know what I mean? Went over the whole fucking car and everything. I had Super Ted in the back, and I was like, well, can't be that bad, really, can it? Do you know what I mean? I'm still walking and talking.
And from there, it was set in stone, was it?
What?
From there, it was set in stone.
Well, it has to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't know, and it's weird when you've got kids as well, isn't it? Because you're a bit like, fuck, what's going to happen when you're like, don't fucking run across the road, stop it. No, don't do this, don't do that. But then when I don't know about you, but when I'm down the play park, I'm suddenly like, right, we're going to get this thing. It's kind of like I've got my motorbike and I'm going to put it on the back of on the whirly gig thing, and you're like, and my kids are going around about 90 miles an hour until they fly off the thing. I'm thinking, how's that? And they're like, fucking half of them are in fucking Germany by this point. And it's just like. My job's done here. Are there any questions for me?
No, I didn't get any. I didn't get any questions back from anyone.
What do you mean from anyone?
Well, I sort of put it out there to a few people.
To who?
That WhatsApp group that when we were going out to Moran's place, there's a few people on that. I thought I might get something back from some of those cats. But nothing.
So that's what I mean to them then, is it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, there may be...
When are you talking to Monty Burns?
So Nick Hamilton wants to do it, but he's collating his archive and he wants to do something. But he wants to come over to do the podcast, but he's like trying to work out what he's going to be presenting at the same time.
Is that what he said to you?
Yeah, we had a big long chat about it.
I'll tell you what's happening. He's got far too much money in Ethereum, right? And it's doing shit right now. So he's fucking shitting it. I speak to Nick almost every second day.
Do you?
Basically, he's rinsed it in crypto right now. And it's a bloodbath. Oh. So he can't make it over.
Oh, well. I preferred his story that he told me to yours. That made me feel special. Well, the fact that he wants to come and do it, but he wants to do it in person.
You know what I think? Yeah, no, I'd rather see that. I want to see him actually. I'm not seeing him in. Fucking hell, man. That's another fucking chat as well, isn't it? Because it was like, do you remember that time White Lines was just the epicenter of fucking snowboarding?
Yeah.
It was like you get a cover, you get an interview, and it was all shot by Nick.
Yeah.
And all the words were by Matt or Chris.
Yeah.
And then the behind the scenes was Ed, Satan.
Yeah.
And he was fucking running it. And then you had Jim, who was fronting it on the hook.
Chod on the design.
But I'd be going down to fucking like London on a train to go to Bordeaux, and you'd walk into the local WH Smith and you'd be on the fucking cover of the magazine.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty fucking special thing to happen. And like talking about that and even looking back on that kind of time, at the time you probably didn't realise how big it was, because I'd look at Sidewalk Surfer or Rad at the time when I was a kid, and you'd be like, no fucking way, like,
yeah,
or even any magazine, you were like, or Top of the Pops, do you know what I mean, or Just 17. He'd be like, no way, there's people actually on a cover of a magazine there. And then, but you'd be in there, you'd be like, oh, this is my interview. And you'd pick it up and be like, fucking hell, there's something there. Do you know what I mean? And the chat was probably fucking horrendous, but the photos were unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's that, it crossed
like
over.
Nick was such a good fucking photographer.
Yeah.
I don't think people realise how good he was.
Well, I mean, look where he rose to. Do you know what I mean? They obviously, he became essentially the most important photographer in snowboarding for a period.
Chris, 100%. It was like, I remember the day that I found out that he was going to go to work in the States, and I was just like, well, that's it then. Do you know what I mean? And I'm trying to put any other UK photographers, a bad word against them, or but it was like that super group had stopped. It had been like, it was Ed, it was Moran, it was Matt, and it was Monty Burns, Scamo, and it just delivered. It was, I think it was, you probably 2 seasons out of that, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Was it?
I don't know. But I mean, Nick's workload. I mean, he had all the like he shot just so many photos, and loads of them were amazing.
Yeah. But that was that he knew his role and what he did and what he was going to do and how he was going to deliver it.
Yeah. And he did the work. He did the time, didn't he, as well? Like, he lived with Sasha and Kenty and Avoriaz, and then just shot photos.
Oh my god, that fucking Sasha. Has Sasha been on this?
No, he's going to come on.
Alexandra.
Jesus, Sasha.
That shot of him doing. Well, you were probably in Borg at the time, I think. When he did not hit a bong and then just go and fucking do that line. And
I don't know, but that line is heavy.
That line, and you can see as you're coming up to Saint Foy.
Yeah, if you're coming up the Comboursier chairlift, it's on your left as you're looking at it. For anyone that knows
that photo, I think, is the only way that Nick could have done that justice, because it's still not done justice to it.
No,
because that was fucking insane.
I mean, that line doesn't get done very often either. And for that line that he put down, it is incredible.
And stoned out his tits.
It's the power of the mind for you. The power of Sasha's mind.
Oh my god, I'd love to hear Sasha's chat. He's fucking...
Yeah, we'll get to it. So let's get on with yours though. So like one of the standout memories is your part in one of I don't know if it's the Invasion or the sequel or one of Tim and Gen's. It definitely has some backside rodeos in it.
Really?
Yeah.
What, backside rodeo?
You used to do backside rodeos, didn't you?
Never really recommended that.
Right, I'll have to find the clip and send
I
it
don't
to
really.
you.
I don't think I was known for hillside rodeos.
Yeah.
Was I?
That's what I think of you anyway. You sucky bastard. That's your best trick.
What, the one trick pony?
Yeah. There we go. Neve's fucking chucking one back on his heels again.
Shabba, Mr. Lava Man. A good time, not a long time, guys.
But
you got any Pato Banton?
Chakademus and pliers. Oh, fucking hell, it's so hard. You're the most difficult person to interview.
Why?
Yeah, just, I mean, I remember those, but then sort of when did you drop out of snowboarding? Like, when did you realise that you'd had enough, or like the game was over?
I'll tell you that straight away. When I couldn't be fucking arsed getting out of bed.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I would just go down to the pub and fucking spend all my money and fucking get smashed and Morsey, and I just, I just didn't fucking find it fun.
Was that the season I was in Morsey?
Well, I was there for 3.
Oh, okay, one of them then. But yeah,
it was. Yeah, that was. I think that was my. It was the year that I was going out with Catherine.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we went back to Edinburgh, and I was a bit like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, because people are paying me money to try and deliver, and I just can't be bothered.
Right.
Like, yeah, I was just done. I just found it shit. I found it boring. I felt like not a performance seal, but like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, well, we just got to do it, keep on doing it. And I was like, I need to do something else.
Is that because there was pressure on you because you were paid, or had you just had like an intense period of doing it and just needed to do something else?
Bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
A bit of both. I mean, I did back-to-back seasons. I remember. I mean, you've got to remember now. Like, we're just coming out the back end of this winter. How fucking shit do you find winter right now if you're not living in the Alps?
Yeah, it's really tough.
It's dark at fucking 3:00, and it's like you're getting up and I was working for fucking JP Morgan, and I'm fucking getting on a bus going to Glasgow every fucking day. And I was, it felt the kind of same thing. It was just like I was in New Zealand, and it was just like it's just dark every and then you get back home and it's back into winter.
Yeah.
And it's back to this, and it's back. Don't get me wrong, like, and I'm sounding probably like a right little shit about it because you're still living in the Alps, and I was in Verbier at the start of the year, and there's that crisp air, and there's the what's it called, the inversions and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And whatever, and it's great. And it's better than living in Britain, but when you're just seeing X amount of sun for a fucking while, and it's just like back-to-back season, bang, 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 and it's great, and it is fucking great. But then it just comes to a point like I don't fucking I just don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
The whole point of snowboarding for me is, and people, it's different for everyone, but I just fucking love hitting jumps. I was still quite happily. I went to Japan, and people were like, "Yeah, it's great, it's Japan," and I was a bit like, "Yeah, but I understand how much fun riding powder is, and being in the white room or fucking doing whatever, going off a cliff and stuff. But at the same time, I'm a bit like, I'd rather just sit in a park with the sun out in a March, at Easter holidays.
Yeah.
I'd rather go and hit a fucking jump.
Yeah.
It was just going off a jump and being in the air, and because you feel like you're flying. I mean, Sladen's podcast with Matt was, it's that turn. He loves the turn, and that's what he just tell people. Do you know what I mean? And he loves it, and that's his thing. But that's fun. But I get bored, and I've got OCD, but I just want to go and. It's going back to like scaring the shit out of myself, basically, like trying to kill myself, not in a depressing way, but do you know what I mean? Like I just want to really push my boundaries, and see what I can get away with, and when see if it goes wrong, and if it does go wrong, it will go wrong, but you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah, I understand that.
But then, I mean, look at snowboarding these days. It's fucking mad because, I mean, I remember Jones living with us, and it was just like, people are now, even at night, people are dedicated to their individual piece, like pipe. Like Sean White. You're not going to take him to fucking a park or a Travis Rice session in the natural section, are you?
No,
because he's going to be better at riding pipe, and that's his discipline. Where you see someone like Stenty or Travis Rice or something like that, and Ed or those riders. If you ever get the chance to go snowboarding with them, and I think you said it with Morris, it's like you start following that rider, and the way that they can read a mountain is fun, but they've still got their discipline, and Stenty is an amazing snowboarder at what he does, and that's his thing, and that's what, and I'm jealous of that, because they are having, they can just see it as it is. Like the scariest thing for me would be go to fucking Alaska, and with Tom Burt, and you'd be like on his Kemper, and me and my black snow, and him on his fucking Kemper and Trudeau. You'd be like, what the actual fuck's happening right here? And this fucking guy's going, you got to get the helicopter now, mate. And you'd be like, fucking, and that's 1,500 quid, by the way. He'd be sitting there going, and Tom Burt's going, see ya. What? Before you know it, he's down there with a semi, and and you're sitting up top, shaking like a dog taking a shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like, what? You'd be like, fuck off. Scares the shit out of me. But then put fucking old Tom Burt into fucking King Kong's fucking, do you know what I mean, implant of his cock into a pipe, and he'd be like, he'd be shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he'd be surfing it.
He would. He'd just like ride the sides and be like, no.
He'd just be taking the vert off for you, wouldn't he? Just like fucking cut that off.
Yeah, and then you get fucking pissed off because you're like, stop cutting the shit out of it, you prick. You're ruining the lip.
Imagine calling Tom Burt a prick.
I'll call anyone a fucking prick. A lot of people call me that.
Fucking
So
don't doubt that at all.
I'm easy.
Well, just what do you do now? Like, what did you do after snowboarding? Given that you'd like never had a job,
Still trying to work that one out.
you still thinking about that?
I don't really have to worry about. I mean, I've done. Your brother knows as well. I've done a lot of stuff in. I've got an agent in China, and we manufactured a lot of stuff. We did novelty socks, and I saw your brother at Brassey's 40th, I think it was, and he was like, "Oh, because he does stuff with Grace. Is it Grayscale?
Greystone.
Greystone.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, can you do socks for that?" And blah blah blah. And I did novelty socks at Christmas, and we did like fucking fucking crazy money. It was like 150 grand in 2 weeks. And
No way.
in socks. Yeah. So kind of did that, and then I don't know. Yeah. Don't know. Yeah. Still working it out.
You
If
and me both,
anyone,
man.
salesman, or wants to give someone a punter a shot. I was actually thinking about doing stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See what happens there.
I would love to see that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that'd be fucking. Yeah. It's a lot. You've got to have a lot of front though, don't you? See what I mean?
You've got to have. I think you've got to have fucking.
You've got to have some
proper-
fucking testicles. For
Yeah,
that one.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
a brutal way to kind of forge a career. But if you
I quite like to get heckled. I quite like getting told I'm shit. Because I'm the sort of person that was sitting like that, wanker, you fucking shit. Because I'm sitting in that guy's seat going, he's fucking right. It is fucking terrible, this. I think we're missing the biggest question, though.
Sorry?
I think we're missing the biggest question.
Which is?
Who's got the best tickets in 4 months' time?
We talking
August. Murrayfield.
Sorry, I'm
The biggest tickets on the block.
what, Oasis? What are you talking about?
Well, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I mean, that is...
Are you going to see Oasis at Murrayfield? Is that what you're saying?
You fucking know it. You fucking know it.
See, I'm not that bothered. In fact, I couldn't be less bothered.
That's a lie. Because when you see my Instagram,
No,
I'm going, you know it.
No, I don't really need to see two Mancunians phoning it in because they need the money, and they'd rather not be there. But they know that they're going to sell. They're going to make such a fucking amount of cash that they've just got to get over themselves for.
There's the Chris Cracknell I've missed.
No, I've talked about this with a lot of my music chumps. A lot about this.
That's why I wanted to talk to you about music. Because it's like, how can you not want to go see that? It's
I think it might be a really weird.
It's like saying, I don't want to go and see Pink Floyd.
Well, I don't want to see Pink Floyd.
Oh, come on.
No, do you know what? I could have gone and seen Dave Gilmour at this pub just down the road. He was doing a secret gig that everybody knew about.
And they went, fuck off, mate.
Well, I just said, do you know what? I'm not actually that bothered. It's not for me.
That's the Chris Cracknell I miss.
No, I'm just not that bothered. And the Oasis thing...
Was that you, Munson and Kenty, sitting in a room getting stoned drinking tea?
Yeah, just being not bothered about things. Just being angry about anybody doing anything.
Bog Samaris going, not that bothered really, Kenty.
No.
Munson going, neither am I, Chris. You know, he's fucking with his fishing rod, like fucking with a magnet on it, trying to get Jamie Phillips in that fucking snowboard shop.
Yeah, no, do you not think the vibe will be a bit weird? Like, because it's not 90s anymore, lad culture, that sort of thing. There's going to be loads of...
Oh, I think I said it on my own Facebook, because I've literally got... I was really lucky. I wanted to go with Mark Petty and Brassy, and I tried to go get standing tickets on the main floor. And then I was obviously going through the whole fucking rigmarole of Ticketmaster and fucking shit. And I was actually up with Susie and Mark up in Abbeymoor. And we've got to
send a quick shout out to Susie and Mark.
Oh,
legends!
They're brilliant. Yeah. You not up there? Oh, did you not do a podcast with them?
No, not yet. I was maybe going to do one with Mark.
Yeah,
or maybe with the pair of them.
Yeah, you should do it. Couple. Yeah. You get on like house on fire because you just moan.
Oh man,
so
that's the old me. I'm full of sunshine and light these days.
Oh, you fuck.
Except when you talk about Oasis.
Exactly, and that's like yeah, exactly. That's why I'm talking about it, because I know it pissed you right off. Right. So I'm sitting up there in fucking Aviemore land, and I was like, fuck. And I was like, shit. Right, okay. And I was thinking, right, I'm just going to go for one ticket and see what happens. And I bought this one ticket, and it fucking came through, and it went through the system, and I was like, fucking yes! It's like 75 quid for a fucking seat in Murrayfield to go see the fucking biggest, best band in the world. And then Mark's like, we're leaving because we were out and about. And I was like, Mark, do you want the good news or the bad news? And he went, can we have the bad news? And I went, well, the bad news is you're not going to see Oasis, but I am for £75. And then I said, the problem is I'll probably be next to a 20-year-old mum with a feather boa on, just coming to try and see Wonderwall.
Yep, exactly.
Like a Harry Styles fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I'm in the house, I'm up in the fucking Isle of the Gods. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like
miles away from the stage.
Yeah. But
I mean, I'm sure it will be an event, that's for sure. I'm just wondering about.
I just hope they can get to Edinburgh.
Yeah. Well, apparently they're not getting any money until they finish the tour.
Oh, apparently. Oh, yeah. So you are following it then, Chris?
No, I just got friends in the business.
Oh, have you now?
I have you? Yeah.
Matt Barr, because he fucking loved them as well. He's a massive Oasis fan.
I've heard that.
Can't stand them. Have you seen his shoes? They look like snooker cues. Do you know what I mean? You could like. I hope he's listening. Where's my podcast with him?
I don't know that Matt listens to this.
Well, he will listen to this one. I've tried phoning him 10 times.
Is he not had you on?
He's told me to fuck right off.
Fair enough.
But yeah, oh man, this summer is gonna be. But that whole thing is coming back. You know, the Massive Attack stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? And Prodigy are trying to push it out.
Yeah, the Prodigy are. Well, it's the whole 90s thing. I was chatting, Dave Lee, who does Signal Snowballs, he used to be a pro on LibTech. Met him at the board test last year.
Dave Lee?
Yeah.
Fuck off. The guy from... like Sladen's mate.
Yeah.
Like Dave Grohl, Nirvana.
No, not Dave Grohl. Dave Lee, who's...
Oh, Dave Lee, the LibTech, right? Yeah. Was it not the skeleton?
Something like that.
Board. Remember that skeleton board? It was just a fucking skeleton. Yeah.
Well, anyway, chatting to him, and he was going, yeah, it's just the 90s. Everything in America is just all about the 90s. Like everything is back on from those. And snowboarding's kind of rising up again because of that. Do you know what I mean? It's just all those things that were cool at the time are coming back.
You know what, though? 100% of it is because before we had got on this call, I looked up one of my favourite, we should talk about more about this, but favourite snowboarders. Peter Line, Simple Pleasures, that section. But I remember watching that stuff and going, fucking that's mad. But you look at it now, it still stands in its time. But the jumps and the landings were just so shit. I mean, the jumps were literally a fucking car crash. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then it was like, fucking off you go. But then Line would come out with like a switch backside 7 and just in powder. And it wasn't, and in dusk as well. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, you were like, and you fucking stomped the shit out of it. And then you had Division 23. You had, I mean, have you watched recently Jamie Lynn's stuff? Have you looked back on, when was the last time you watched Jamie Lynn snowboard?
Probably watched The Garden fairly recently.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's still mind-blowing now. Do you know what I mean? Because they were working what they had to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, which I just find it's fucking amazing. And it's like, and you still sit there going, oh my fucking God. Like, that is snowboarding. And so well documented, I think. And those were the best, like the Mac Dog stuff. And then it obviously went into fucking forum and all that shit where it was just totally out your fucking comfort zone. But then UC Oxenden brought it back with Lame.
Yeah.
And you were just suddenly like, I just want to go snowboarding with my mates. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
So
and watching that's the point. When you asked me earlier about like, when was the last time I went snowboarding, it's like watching that kind of video again goes, you know what? I'd like to get out of bed to go and do that. Because when I stopped snowboarding, I couldn't be fucking arsed getting out of bed. It was just like, what, we're going back up this fucking hill. We're just going to hit these fucking jumps again and fucking do this and that line there and that. And it was a bit like, you'd watch something like Sorry, or Almost Sorry, like the skate stuff with Penny and the Deathbox crew, and you know, which is obviously the flip plot. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like that's what would push you to go, I want to fucking be like that, but on the snow. Do you know what I mean? And that's when McMorris's style comes in, I think, because you can see that in his snowboarding. Do you know what I mean? Or Wheelers, and you know, they've taken it from there and brought it in there, and that's where they're working with it, which is fucking brilliant.
Okay, so just on that then, I'm just aware that we've been talking for quite a long time.
How long?
Well, over 2 hours. There's loads of stuff that we haven't gone anywhere near, but I want to ask you, what does snowboarding mean to you?
Fucking nothing, to be honest, Chris.
Fucking love that answer.
I was just pleased to fucking turn up, to be honest. Like I did turn up. Otherwise it wouldn't make your fucking life as much fun as it is.
No, I know, yeah. You've certainly been a presence in my life, I'll say that.
You're still fucking angry about that.
Still angry about that one night. 4 a.m. outside my mum and dad's house. Will you shut the fuck up? You just laughing like a maniac.
Ding.
That's so funny that you remember
that. That's why I know I loved your brother more than you.
Nah, come on, man. Snowboarding must mean something to you.
Yeah. Come on. What does snowboarding mean to me?
Yeah, it must mean something to you. The fact that you still want to do it, do you know what I mean? like, given the right circumstances.
I don't know if I do. Like I said, it was like fucking 6 years since I've been snowboarding. I've actually got a board bag under the bed, and
with the right crew and everything, and like
yeah. I mean, I don't know if people can take this away from what we've fucking been talking about or anything. I just really like being with, just chatting shit. I like going snowboarding with people, and that are that same level, or we can just get on. I just like fucking hanging out with people. That's and being part of a crew or a team or a structure. I mean, don't get me wrong, snowboarding is full of fucking oddballs. Do you know what I mean? Just take you for instance. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd be like, but it brings us all together.
Yeah.
In some fucking way, and then you've got like, I mean, we're talking about Mark Hartley and his green hair, and you know the controversialness of what happened there, or you talk about like Jamie Philp, and James Philp, and you know, remember when I came to Borg and PM, we just went down the park and bought a crate of Kronenberg and started skateboarding. Remember that?
No, I don't remember.
And then the French kids went fucking bananas on us.
No.
And we bought a load of weed off them. Remember that? Remember that?
I don't remember that, no.
You fucking do, because you're pissed off at that day, because I think I'd robbed you as well. And then, like, I think Jamie Baker had done, like, a bottle of wine in, like, 2 seconds. And he just opened his gullet up and went,
yeah. Well, that sounds about right.
But I mean, just talking about it, just you know, just that's what I miss, I think. And the weird thing about snowboarding as well is, like, I feel like it's like I've got mates at uni, or went to uni or whatever, and they've got their little uni mates and they're often doing their fucking stuff. But I always looked at snowboarding as my university of just fucking the people you'd meet, and you know, you just get thrown into things, and it was just like, this is fucking mental. Like, and then, like, people would take you this way or that way, or you just get dragged about. But it was just being part of it, I think, is the. Yeah. I just like people. Do you know what I mean? And I like hanging out, and I like talking about it. And if we can go up the mountain, it's like going to Moran's house. I go in there in the summer more than fucking going snowboarding.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's somebody I've met through snowboarding, but he's still a great fucking person to hang out with. And
totally.
Do you know what I mean? Or yourself. Do you know what I mean? I can still walk into a room. I've probably done too much fucking Mandy, and I'm chatting at a fucking speaker. But by the time I come round, I'll be like, all right, that was a bit mental. But I'm not. I don't feel like I'm getting judged, and we've got the same playing field to talk about to each other about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But that is what snowboarding has given you, isn't it? Essentially. Yeah. Because I think any snowboarder feel the same about their crew of people that they go snowboarding with.
Well, it's like being in a band, isn't it? It's like what I was talking about, the super group with White Lines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you had Ed, Matt, fucking Chris, and then you've got fucking Scammo. And that was the driving force behind British snowboarding at one point. And everybody wanted to be a part of that. And if you want in White Lines, you felt you were shit, basically.
Yeah.
And the driving force is that you wanted to get a picture with Scammo. You want Ed writing about you. You want the publication when you walk into fucking into WH Smith's and that train station, going to Board X or whatever, at the start of the season, to pick up and go, holy shit, I've got a half page or an advert in there, like your brother in the Airwalk or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And that's, yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
All right. And then, so the last thing that I ask everybody is, why should somebody go snowboarding? Like, when you think about you, when you picked up that black snowboard, like, for somebody who hasn't experienced that, what is it that...
And this is going to be quite controversial, because a lot of people are going to... And I just like, don't do it. Like, it's... I did that because I wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? I did it because I was eager, I was hungry, I just wanted to do that, and that was the thing I wanted. Like, because I look at my kids now, but I'm not going to push that down their fucking throat. Go, here's a snowboard and let's go skiing and let's go fucking snowboarding. Because they'll probably be like, Dad, this is shit, and I've just spent fucking X amount of money on it.
Yeah, but that's you and your kids. That's not the question, is it? The question is, like, why should somebody do it off their own back?
Okay, so but we've just gone over the whole thing about me and everything, and chatting about that. I was at boarding school, right? Okay, and people thought it was the Antichrist, and it was a smoker, and I was a fucking skateboarding, and my mum and dad didn't want me to go skateboarding. My mum and dad didn't want to go snowboarding, and they were just like, "What's this fucking shit? You need to get a proper job, and you shouldn't be doing this." And I was like, "Go fuck yourself. I want to fucking do it because I want to fucking do it."
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was my fucking choice. And it wasn't because I wanted to become friends with you or Danny or fucking all the people we've just mentioned. That came with what happened, obviously. Yeah. I did it because I was like, I'm fucking eager for it. So you had to go out there and fucking do it. Because of what? There was a time when, you know yourself, you do a season and fucking the people go, oh, I really want to hang out with you guys. But they were like seasonaires doing a gap year, and you see them for like, 6 months, and then hang out at the ski show or whatever. Pro-hos, as some people called them. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and it was like, but they weren't in it for they weren't in it because of the passion for it. It was more of they would just do it because they just wanted to fucking, I'm 21 and I can tell my fucking mates about it.
Yeah.
Where I'd rather be like, I'm doing it because I fucking want to do it, and the people I've met and the vehicles traveling, like I think you mentioned on Matt's podcast, it was just like Matt took that vehicle. I mean, that really opened my eyes. The stuff from that bar, like the trips we did, and McMorris's eyes, I think, and like that whole what Matt and Ed were doing, put it on its head, and like fuck, they went to Iran. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With night and that's what I'm saying is I guess the vehicle was the fun part of it, and I'm lucky enough. I enjoy snowboarding and I'm very good at it, and I was at that point, and I want to push myself to be better than Danny or try and be better than Scott, and I fucking wanted to do it. But that was my own choice. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just going to go and do a season and fucking... Because the people in seasons, you'd be like I was saying about Zara, I was going back and forth to fucking Whistler 6 times a year. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't because I wanted to go and fucking do all that traveling. It was because, like, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I was doing it because I wanted to do it. So picking up a snowboard, go pick up a snowboard because you want to fucking do something with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a fucking set of nunchucks. Because you're going to be like, fucking, watch out. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to Bruce Lee someone. Do you know what I mean? It's like having a car. You want to push the shit out of it. You know, that's my way of looking at things. Do you know what I mean? It's like having a fucking yellow Sony Walkman. You forward, back, reverse, like, till you can break it. Yes, it's broken. I've done it. Yes, that's worked.
So there you are, Elliot, Neave. That was a whirlwind of a ride. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Elliot, for coming on and doing it. I mean, we've not spoken in a while, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What an infectious personality you've got. I think anybody that's met you would say that. So, I hope you enjoyed that. So, what else is going on? This weekend is the Brits. If you haven't signed up and you've got a bit of time that you can take off, then I definitely recommend you getting out to Meyerhofen and go and investigate the British Championships if you want to see what British snowboarding has to offer. Loads of good people, loads of good times, a competition that will be, I guess, hotly contested. Certainly the Masters border cross is hotly contested, but certainly kind of done in with the best of intentions. Yeah, it would be brilliant. If you can make it out there, then please do. Sadly, I can't make it out there. We are going away next week with the kids, and the budget for that is... well, who knows what the budget's going to be. So anyway, couldn't really justify going to the Brits for a couple of days, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to be back on the mountain, back in the mountains next week, and I can't wait. It's going to be quite the experience, and I'll be back to tell you about that before the end of the season. So if you are going away, and you should still, if you haven't been away yet, there is still time. The lifts are open for about another month, I think. If you go to some of the higher up resorts, even longer. Kianatal's open right into May. There'll be other places in Austria like Kaprun that are open till late. Teen is open till quite late, I think. So still plenty of time to go snowboarding if you haven't been snowboarding yet and haven't scratched that itch this winter. Don't let the dust settle too long. Get yourself out there, and if you need any kit, then obviously go and see our friends at the Snowboard Asylum who have been looking after snowboarders for a long time, and they know what they're talking about, and they have a sale on. They support this podcast, so we're supporting them. They've got a sale, so anything you need will be at a great price. Go in, get the right advice, and then you'll get the best price on things as well. Don't do the dick move of getting all the advice and then trying to shop online to get a bargain. If you like snowboarding, you need to support snowboarding. That is very important. The track for the start of this episode, very, very topical, as Elliot is obviously excited about going to see Oasis this summer. It's the first track off their third album, Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, and it's called Fucking in the Bushes, which was Danny Wheeler's, the soundtrack to one of Danny Wheeler's sections in one of the lockdown movies. They are all up on our YouTube channel. You can go and find them. You won't regret watching those videos. They sort of summed up British snowboarding at the time, and I still think they do sum up British snowboarding. Like, although we do have some of the best riders, we've definitely got the best community, and I think those videos really summed up the community around snowboarding. Or at least from my point of view. Let me know what you think about them. If you've never seen them and you watch them, let me know what you think. You can get in touch with me by sending an email to thankyouSnowboarding@gmail.com, or you can go on DMs on Thank You Snowboarding Podcast on Instagram. Just as a note, actually, someone got in touch the other day saying that they didn't want to listen to this podcast because the U in Thank You Snowboarding is a letter U and not the word you, a bit like Phones for You or some nonsense like that. And I wasn't trying to be clever when I named it that. What I did was there was a bit of graphic design and I had the picture of a snowboarder doing a hand plant on the edge of a half pipe, and the U was supposed to represent a half pipe. But then in the sort of, as the design changed, that kind of got lost. And yeah, I probably should have changed it, but didn't. So that is why it is a U in Thank You Snowboarding. Not trying to be clever or, slightly 2000s throwback for like a phone shop. Not about that at all. It was literally a design thing that then changed over time. Just for a little bit of backstory on that. What else is going on? I'm going out to the mountains next week. Can't wait for that. That's about it, I think was it this week that Mia Brooks won the Crystal Globe for like her overall wins on some World Cup circuit? Well, Mia Brooks is winning things again. Shout out to Mia, shout out to Vicky and Nige as well. She makes snowboarding look like snowboarding should. And hopefully we're going to have an episode with her next season, and also with Mikey, one of her coaches. He's shown an interest in coming on. He is definitely Australian in spirit, but holds a British passport, so he qualifies. And as he coaches Mia, I think that gives him a pass to be on the podcast. He's definitely helped shaping the future of British snowboarding. So yeah, look forward to having Mikey on. And that's about it for now. Yeah, keep an eye out for the Snowboard Asylum sale. Go and check out our Instagram. Thank You Snowboarding Podcast. Oh, the competition to give away that limited edition Lax Burton Custom 158. If you go on there, find a post from about a week and a half ago. It's me talking about how you win the board. Now, basically, I won a board in a media raffle at the Lax Open. I didn't know I was in this competition to win, and it was about a week after I got home. Their press office sent me an email saying I'd won a snowboard. Now, what a lovely thing to happen, but I felt as if I'd already won. I've been to Lax twice now for the Open, and I feel like I'm winning anyway. I get to do this podcast. I get to hook up with loads of old friends and people that I'm sort of only one removed from and hear all their stories. And I've been snowboarding quite a bit this winter. I certainly don't need to win a snowboard. So what I felt was that I should give that board to somebody and get them as stoked on snowboarding, or just get them stoked. And I thought it'd be nice to give it to someone who maybe deserved it. But obviously, it would be difficult to nominate yourself to deserve something. So, if you want to win this board, then you have to go onto that Instagram post and you need to nominate someone who deserves it. So 158. So your mate who's 6'5" with size 11 feet, don't nominate them. However much of a legend that person is, don't nominate them because they won't be able to ride it. This isn't a wall hanging board. This is brand new, latest tech. It will ride amazing and it deserves to be ridden. I want to see images of it being ridden. So if you've got a mate who would deserve, for whatever reason, then you've got to go on that Instagram post and you have got to tag that person and tell me why they deserve it. Just because they're your mate, maybe that is enough. They've put up with your shit for that long that they deserve a free snowboard. Maybe that is good enough, but you've got to tell me why, basically. And I'll pick the most deserving person and I will announce who it is at the end of the last episode of the season, which is going to be on the 10th of April. If you're listening closely, you'll know who the season ender is going to be, but I'm not going to give that away now. We've got another 2 episodes before we hit that. So yeah, I think that's it for now. We're rocking in for quite a long one this week, so I will let you go. Yeah, if you haven't been snowboarding, go snowboarding. You will thank yourself for getting yourself to the mountains, even to the dry slope. Just go and slide sideways. Your brain will thank you for it. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you next week. Thank you, snowboarding. Peace.